Hello everyone, I'm Dick Wolf with the County Buzz. We're going to be talking with Charles Whitmer. I have a tough time with your name, Charles, I can't help it. Charles Whitmer with the Cumberland Center for Justice and Peace in Sewanee. And welcome to the County Buzz.
Thank you for having me.
And tell us about the Center for Justice and Peace.
Mm-hmm.
What do y'all do?
Well, we do a variety of things. I mean, the purpose of our organization is to promote activities that lead to a measure of justice and peace here in the South Cumberland Plateau region. So we're based in Sewanee. We do some work on the plateau. You know, sort of define it as maybe a 30-mile radius from around headquarters up there. So over the years, we've been around since 1987, and there's been a variety of projects that the board and the membership has undertaken. Everything from getting a housing project up in Sewanee going, similar to Habitat for Humanity, that is now operating as a separate entity. We're involved with setting up a community center up there a while ago, and now that is its own separate entity. We've undertaken projects, everything from assisting people getting IDs for voting registration, assisting people with the voter registration process. For a while, we were involved in helping people sort of navigate the Affordable Care Act and signing up for health insurance. That process has been much simplified now for people. But over the years we've been involved in a variety of projects, and recently some of these activities and some of the students that have formed this GSA club at Franklin County High School, we've reached out to them and are trying to support that. So the focus changes, but it's always on something related to promoting justice, equal rights, and/or peace in this area.
Yeah, so the Cumberland Center for Peace and Justice, it's been around since 1987. I see from time to time you have quarterly meetings, I believe, on the mountain.
Yeah, well, we have both board meetings quarterly and also various activities related to particular topics. We had I guess the most recent one was back in November. We had a community meeting up in Sewanee to try and bring together students and members of the community, members of the School of Theology up there, and people in the college to talk about issues related to race. How do people experience race here in Sewanee and in Franklin County? What are some questions they have about that? But try and bring together people that might not ordinarily cross paths to talk about a particular issue and try and promote some understanding of that issue.
So you're talking about working throughout this particular region, but you are headquartered in Sewanee. Is this open to any citizen of Franklin County that would like to become a participant in some of these activities? How do they get involved with the Justice Center?
Well, it's open to anyone who's interested in helping promote justice and peace. We are based in Sewanee, but we have members that live up in the plateau as far north as Palmer, and we've got people from all over the country and the world that have been members in the past. So if people are interested in say, if they have a project they want to initiate, one of the things that we try and focus on are issues that we don't feel are being currently addressed. There's a lot of projects that are operating, but we try and focus on either supporting existing ones that are within our mission, or if we feel that there isn't a current focus on that, trying to build some way to draw attention to that. So generally how the process works is some people, if they had a proposal they'd like to have us take a look at or need some support with, they could approach our board or send us an email. You can find the contact information on our website. It's www.ccjp.org. They can approach us, and relatively frequently we have people coming to the board meetings and saying, here's an idea I have, what do you think about this? Answer some questions, and the board makes a decision and goes with it. Most recently it was really encouraging to this proposal to support the rally and have the gathering afterwards, as well as try and set up some sort of a support structure for students that are in similar situations throughout rural Tennessee. We put that out to the board on, I think it was a Sunday, and pretty much overnight the overwhelming response was, yes, this is something we should be doing, and we should figure out a way to help on this in any way we can.
Yeah, so they just stepped right forward. This youth group that you worked with at the rally that was recently held in Winchester, is that your first endeavor into a youth group, or have you supported other youth groups in activities?
Well, the short answer is yes, we have supported others. In fact, that's how I know some of the students that are involved in this. There's an organization up in Nashville called the Oasis Center, which does a lot of work with LGBT youth and shelter programs, and tries and generally does a lot of work with young adults. And they sponsor a program called Camp Anytown, which is a 1-week-long camp that talks about diversity, youth leadership, and tries to empower students to figure out some way that they can make a change in the world to make it more the way they'd like to see it. So some of these students said we'd sent up there on a scholarship, and they came back, and apparently it seems to have worked. I know that it's tough to take a stand on some things that might not be popular, especially when you're in high school. And so we're really proud of him for having doing that. So that's one of the things we do. We also have done a one-day sort of youth leadership retreat, trying to connect students from Franklin County, some of the schools up on the plateau, Grundy County High School, to try and get them together and talk about things they're interested in and try and find some common ground and identify projects they'd like to work on together.
So this, do you have, you're a small group right now, do you have intentions to grow, ambitions to grow, and if so, would it be beyond Franklin, Marion, Grundy County?
Well, we're always interested in peace and justice issues that are local. The saying that all politics are local, I think there's a lot of truth to that. So yeah, we're very interested in trying to find ways to support groups that are perhaps farther out, or to try and encourage the formation of new projects locally and within our area of Tennessee.
Yeah. Do you ever bring in guest speakers at functions and activities?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we had about a year ago. We had some folks who were up here, 2 people that had previously been on Tennessee's death row, who were exonerated, and they came and talked about their experience in that process. But yeah, we have periodic events.
That sounds like it was quite a program.
Yeah, film screenings and having discussions afterwards about the topics addressed in the film.
Yeah, was that well attended?
Reasonably. It was held up in one of the challenges is often trying to find a date that there's nothing else going on. And this is something we discovered recently. Apparently, there was a meeting and a workshop to talk about some of the drug problems here in Franklin County, and that unfortunately was planned far in advance of the rally and fell on the same day. So that is one of the challenges: is trying to find dates. There's no conflicts, and you can't always find the ideal date, but sometimes you share a date with other people.
Yeah, this was a wild time this past week with the rally at the school, the rally at Sadbig Wells, both happening on Monday. Then the Democrats are sponsoring a drug abuse program. It's nonpartisan, really. And plus Winchester's meeting, Deckard's meeting. This is a wild night to be at the media in Franklin County. And you're right, finding those dates are hard. Do you have enough people in your organization that you can always staff these things that you hold? You got plenty of folks on board, or?
Yeah, we're always looking for more interested volunteers. We operate primarily as a volunteer organization. I'm the only paid as the director, and we're very fortunate that we have a generous grant every year that pays our administrative costs, so that any donations that come in can go specifically to the programs that they're directed. Or if people wish to earmark it for that, we honor that as well. So that's one of the things we've set up with this. So it's going by the name of the LGBT Rural Youth Program. And we're collecting money for that and trying to figure out ways that students in this area can direct the spending of that. If they want to go to a seminar or a conference, or if they have a speaker they want to bring in, that we're able to support that. And we look forward to doing that.
Living in a rural community poses special problems. You just talked about your rural youth program. In that, even though we live kind of out of town, we're almost all of us smartphone equipped and up to date on everything. So people tend to want the same services that they know are available in New York or Miami or anywhere, and they like to see them here, as well as the support services that you have. We'll put your address down. You gave us your web address. We'll scroll that under this conversation. Are you raising money specifically for this rural youth program, or does that just any revenue that comes in, some of it goes there, some of it goes there, some of it goes there?
Well, we've always honored people's earmarks. If someone sends us a donation and says we'd like this to go for scholarships for students to go to Camp Anytown, we make a point of earmarking it for that. So currently, if you go to our website, all the donations that come through the online platform are being earmarked towards the LGBT Rural Youth Project. If people note that, we'll tuck it away for that. But we currently have 3 or 4 sort of earmarked accounts that we use for specific purposes that the donor wants it to do that. So we really feel fortunate that we're in the position to be able to do that, where the administrative costs are covered and any donations that come in can go specifically towards a project or an endeavor that they're focused on.
That's an unusual and a wonderful position to be in for a nonprofit.
It is.
Would you mind talking about your budget? How much do you have budgeted for your operation?
We're a fairly small organization. I mean, I can't get into the exact numbers, but suffice it to say, we're in the fortunate position where, you know, if your annual revenues are less than $50,000, the IRS lets you fill out a very simplified tax return. So at least in the couple years that I've been there, we haven't had to fill out the more complex tax return. But it's a fairly lean organization. It's a part-time position for me, and well, we'll see. I'm hoping that perhaps for 2016 we might have to fill out a slightly more complicated tax return.
Yeah,
we hope we'll be able to do that.
I don't remember having been to your website, although I must have done it, but I am going to visit it after this conversation. Funny that earmarks are popular outside of Congress, and I think some congressmen would really like to have earmarks back because it was a way for a local district to directly influence the programs.
Perhaps that was a bad choice of language.
No, I thought it was a good choice because earmarks are clearly a very good thing, especially if you're a giver. Mm-hmm. You want to make sure your money goes right where you want it to go, and I think that's a courtesy that all people respect. Do you have a physical facility location?
Well, we use an office that's in the community center up in Sewanee.
Okay.
But as I say, you know, we're essentially it's ad hoc meetings and committees when we need to. So we don't have a physical office. But I think in this virtual world, and it's perhaps not as necessary as it might have been 10 years ago. But we meet in people's houses, in community spaces, in churches, wherever is convenient for the people involved, and we do it there.
So, and you're nonpartisan. There's no
Absolutely,
politics.
yeah.
That would be an interference probably with your 501c3. Well, I think we've really covered this well. I thank you for being here. Is there anything else you'd like to add to our conversation and encourage people to become involved with the Justice Center?
Well, I'd encourage people to take a look at our website. It's www.ccjp.org. Get in contact with us, you know, support, or if you've got some questions, feel free to get in touch. And we're very excited to see this upwelling of support for students and people standing up for equality and equal treatment here in Franklin County. I think that's the students here have really sparked a lot of people to stand up and say, hey, you know, we support what you're doing. We think you should be able to do what you're doing, and we're proud of you.
Thank you very much, Charles Whitmer, the director of the Cumberland Center for Peace and Justice. Justice and Peace, excuse me.
Peace, yes.
That's it for today. Thank you.